From treasure hunts to deadly betrayals, the Pogues face their biggest adventure yet. Let's recap everything from OuterBanks Season 4. The story continues as the Pogues returning home as heroes with the gold from Dorado. They reconnect with their families. Pope is welcomed, while Kiara and Sarah are rejected. Together, they have over $1.1 million in gold. Pope suggests combining their money. Since JJ's family home and land are in foreclosure, they win the property at auction for $775,000, rebuild the house, add a dock, and soon have a working business and their first customer. Pope returns to school, Sarah and John B stay together, and Kiara starts a garden. A suspicious customer visits the dock and recognizes them as treasure hunters, but leaves after they say they are done with treasure hunting. The next morning, a storm cuts their power and kills all their bait. Pope refuses to use their last gold nugget for taxes, so JJ bets it on himself in a dirt bike race. He convinces John B to race too and block Topper and Rafe. JJ starts last, catches up to Rafe, but Rafe hits his back wheel just before the finish. Topper wins, and they lose the gold. Pope gets angry, and they argue until he reveals they owe $113,000 in taxes within 7 days. Later, a newspaper confirms that the Pogues discovered Dorado, making them heroes. At the ceremony, Wes Jonrette invites them to Blackstone for a job. Wes explains that he believes his family is cursed by Blackbeard's wife, Elizabeth. His ancestor killed Blackbeard and Elizabeth, and she has supposedly haunted the family for 300 years. Several family members have died by suicide, including Wes's daughter and Chandler's wife. Wes believes an amulet from Blackbeard's lost ship can break the curse. He offers the Pogues $50,000 to recover it, so they agree. The Coast Guard searched for Blackbeard's ship years ago, and JJ gets its location from a Coast Guard contact by giving up his dirt bike. Meanwhile, a man tries to buy Poguelandia, but Sarah refuses. She discovers the land is being rezoned, which could raise their taxes and force them to sell. The Pogues only have about an hour to search the ship, so they go at night. Sarah and Cleo stay on land, while Pope and John B watch from the boat. JJ and Kiara dive down and find Blackbeard's ship. Inside, they discover modern diving equipment and realize someone else is there. A mystery diver attacks them. JJ stabs him with a spear, but they run out of air and rush back to the surface. John B and Pope rescue them, but JJ and Kiara suffer from decompression sickness. They are taken to the hospital and placed in a hyperbaric chamber. Back in Poguelandia, Pope says they need more than the promised $50,000. Since they have the amulet, they return to Wes's property, where Deputy Schaub tells them that Wes has died. Meanwhile, Rafe meets Hollis, a developer who offers him a chance to invest in Goat Island and Blackstone. Sophia becomes suspicious, and Rafe also starts questioning the deal. Hollis later offers Sophia $25,000 to convince Rafe to invest. Sophia refuses at first, but after overhearing Rafe say he does not really care about her, she agrees to work with Hollis. The Pogues are questioned about Wes's death, but are released because there is no evidence against them. They meet Chandler, who says he will honor Wes's deal if they find anything. The Pogues hide the fact that they already found the amulet. John B and Sarah take the amulet to be translated, while Pope and Cleo go to the hospital for JJ and Kai. There, JJ and Kiara recognize the mystery diver, who has the same wound from JJ's spear. They realize he knows about the ship. JJ breaks out of the chamber, while Kiara steals the diver's file. They find his address at a beachfront hotel. Pope and Cleo watch the pier, while JJ and Kiara follow the diver. Pope overhears him talking to a woman, and learns that they know about the snapper and the amulet. They also want the blue crown. The diver spots JJ and Kai, but they jump off the pier and escape. The Pogues return to Poguelandia. John B and Sarah return with the translation. From the half moon to the North Star, where the living and dead collide, the gatekeeper will guide the way. The translator warns them that anything connected to Blackbeard is cursed. Pope tells them about the Blue Crown, a legendary crown believed to give its owner power and protection. It was created for the Prince of Persia thousands of years ago, and was later lost after Blackbeard found it. The Pogues believe the clue may lead them to the crown. That night, the mystery diver kidnaps Cleo and takes her to his ship, where she sees Terrence. She later learns that the diver, Leitner and his men, are former mercenaries searching for the artifact. Leitner, Terrence, and Cleo return to Poguelandia while it is empty. Cleo searches for the artifact, but it is gone. Leitner attacks her, but Terrence saves her. Cleo finally tells them that Pope has the artifact. Pope's history teacher helps him understand the clue. Pope discovers that Blackbeard visited Half Moon Bay and believes it could lead to the Blue Crown. Cleo calls Pope and tells him to bring the amulet back, or they will kill her. Pope rushes home and calls John B. Meanwhile, the Pogues are surfing when the kooks arrive. Later, Topper's girlfriend Ruthie drives toward them while they watch turtles hatch. Kiara tries to stop her, but Ruthie kills several turtles. JJ becomes furious and threatens the kooks. Leitner is about to shoot Cleo, but Pope arrives. Pope refuses to give him the amulet, and Terrence turns against Lightner. During the fight, Terrence is shot, Pope is knocked down, and Lightner escapes with the amulet. Cleo and Pope try to save Terrence, but he dies from his wounds. Cleo is devastated because he was like a father to her. Pope tells the others what happened, and reveals that Blackbeard may have unloaded something at the Half Moon Battery in Charleston, which could lead them to the Blue Crown. Deputy Shoop arrives and says he believes Wes was murdered. Another body was found with similar injuries and a trident tattoo. Chandler's alibi checks out, so Shoop questions the Pogues because they were among the last people to see Wes. The Pogues hide Terrence's body while JJ distracts Shoop. Shoop also questions JJ about his threat against the kooks and shows him a picture of the dead man, but JJ says he does not know him. Shoop leaves but does not believe JJ and orders the Pogues to be watched. They decide to take Terrence's body out to sea and leave for Charleston. They carry the body to the boat while the police watch them, but the officers think they are carrying bags of clams. The Pogues escape, and Cleo says goodbye to Terrence before they throw his body into the ocean. JJ stays behind to repair the Twinkie. Demp, Wes's former groundskeeper, visits him and gives him a letter from Wes. The letter tells JJ to ask his father about Albatross. JJ searches for his father and finds his father's friend. He claims he has not seen him, but JJ says he wants to buy something from his father for a lot of money, convincing him to help. JJ waits for his father to call. When he does, his father says he knows nothing about Albatross, but JJ hears sounds in the background and finds him. The police arrive because they have been watching the Pogues, so JJ's father promises to explain everything if JJ helps him escape. JJ helps him, and they head to the lighthouse. Meanwhile, the Pogues arrive in Charleston and search the Half Moon Battery. Sarah finds an old church with a North Star in its stained glass, matching the inscription. They believe the church has a crypt where the living and dead collide. John B stays outside while Pope and Sarah enter, and Cleo keeps watch. Lightner and his boss enter through another entrance with the amulet. Pope hears them coming, so he and Sarah hide. They use it to open a crypt. The mercenaries take the scroll and leave, locking the crypt and trapping Pope and Sarah inside. Rainwater soon starts filling the crypt. Cleo leaves the church and sees the man who killed Terrence. She hides and tries to attack him, but he finds her first. Two passing men stop him and call the police. John B finds Cleo and chases the killers, but although he gets a gun, he chooses not to shoot them. Meanwhile, JJ and his father reach the lighthouse. JJ learns the truth about Albatross. Lisa, Wes Jonrette's daughter, died on the boat, but her baby survived. That baby was JJ, and Chandler Groff is his biological father. JJ's father explains that he worked for the Jonrette family and was close to Lisa. Chandler once asked him to care for JJ because Lisa was sick. The next day, he was told that Lisa drowned. Chandler later paid him and promised to return for JJ, but JJ's father became attached to him and kept him instead. JJ struggles to accept the truth and suspects his father is still hiding something, but he refuses to listen when his father says there's more to the story. Back in Poguelandia, JJ tells Kiara the truth and asks her to keep it secret. Soon, John B and Cleo return with Pope and Sarah after rescuing them from the crypt, and they explain what happened in Charleston. The Pogues now face another problem. A zoning hearing could take Poguelandia away from them. Kiara remembers that Rafe visited while they were gone, so Sarah and John B go to see him. Rafe says he cannot help with the zoning issue, but he wants to discuss their inheritance. Ward left both him and Sarah 25% of his money, but Rose has not given it to them. Rafe wants Sarah's help getting the money and Wheezy back, but Sarah refuses because she does not trust him. At the hearing, many people support the Pogues, but the board reveals that they have already voted against them. John B explains that they legally bought the land and built a business. Then the real estate agent reveals that JJ's father had already promised to sell the property before the auction, and Topper's grandfather, a judge, approved the deal. JJ's father then appears in the courtroom, shocking everyone. Pope realizes that JJ's father made the deal to avoid prison, allowing the corrupt judge to take Poguelandia away. JJ becomes furious and attacks the police. A riot breaks out, allowing him to escape. He then destroys property downtown and attacks the real estate agent's office. The police surround him while the Pogues watch. Pope tries to help but is arrested. JJ creates a distraction and escapes. JJ returns to Poguelandia, gets on the snapper, and heads to Blackstone to confront Chandler. On the way, he sees Rafe leaving Blackstone after signing more documents with Chandler. Rafe warns Chandler not to betray him and worries that Goat Island could become a nature reserve, but he still signs the deal. JJ reaches Blackstone and tells Chandler they need to talk. Meanwhile, Pope appears before a judge and is released to his parents with an ankle monitor. He must stay away from his friends, and the judge offers to drop his charges if he joins the Marines. Pope ignores the rules and meets Cleo, while also considering joining the Marines. JJ gets inside Blackstone and asks Chandler if he is his father, but Chandler denies it. Then Demp warns them that the mercenaries have entered Blackstone. Chandler gives JJ a shotgun and tells him about a small boat on the other side of the island. They take an ATV to reach it. The boat is called the Albatross, the same boat where Lisa supposedly died. JJ questions Chandler, but he keeps changing his story. The boat no longer works, so JJ decides to swim away and leaves Chandler behind. Chandler finally admits that he is JJ's father. JJ turns back, but the mercenaries arrive and capture them both. On the ship, Chandler says the mercenaries believe he stole from them. JJ realizes Chandler is lying because he talks quickly when nervous. He also realizes Chandler made up the ghost and curse stories to hide what he was really searching for. Chandler apologizes for abandoning JJ and says he always thought about getting him back. He then says they must focus on the artifact because it is part of their family legacy. Back on the Outer Banks, Sarah takes a pregnancy test and discovers she is pregnant. She tells Key, who comforts her, but Sarah decides not to tell John B yet. John B then talks to Topper, who admits that taking Poguelandia was his idea. The Pogues head to Goat Island to find JJ. That night, they spot the ship where JJ and Chandler are being held. The mercenary leader explains that Chandler was in prison in Tangier when they found him with the captain's log and information about Blackstone. They made a deal, but Chandler stole the log and later killed one of their men, burying him in the dunes. This was the body Shupe found. Chandler then tells the woman that JJ killed their man. JJ denies it, so she decides to kill them both. The Pogues create a distraction with Molotov cocktails. The first fails, but the second works. John B gets onto the ship, frees JJ, and takes the scroll. They escape into the water, while Chandler also gets away. Back in Poguelandia, the Pogues cannot read the scroll. Chandler arrives and warns them that the mercenaries will come after them. He explains that the scroll is a map to the Blue Crown, created in the 1700s by Murad the Younger, who learned about a hidden vault containing gold and the crown in the Moroccan desert. Elizabeth Teach, Blackbeard's wife, stole the map and later brought it to the Carolinas, where it was buried. Chandler says the map can only be read with a crystal necklace that belonged to Elizabeth Teach. He believes it is in Lisa's tomb, so the Pogues agree to help him find it. Sarah then tells John B that she is pregnant. He is surprised but happy, and they decide to get married at the courthouse the next morning. They keep the pregnancy secret and ask Cleo to be their witness. She agrees. At the courthouse, they find it closed because of the damage JJ caused. Several kooks, including Kel and Ruthie, arrive for revenge. Ruthie pushes Sarah, so John B steps in. Cleo cuts the kooks, tires, helping them escape, but they are trapped in a drugstore and the kooks start shooting. Pope suddenly arrives and saves them. He had changed his mind about the Marines and found them through location sharing. They remove his ankle monitor and return to Poguelandia. Meanwhile, JJ and Chandler go to Lisa's tomb. JJ opens it and finds the crystal necklace, while Chandler secretly calls the police. When the police arrive, Chandler tells JJ to hide and give him the crystal. He then tells the police that JJ ran away. Chandler returns to Poguelandia for the scroll, but Kiara becomes suspicious. When she tries to call JJ, Chandler attacks her, knocks her out, and hides her in an ice chest. He then returns to the tomb and frees JJ, making JJ trust him. Chandler now has the scroll and crystal, so he goes to Hollis's office for Rafe's money. Hollis refuses because Chandler lied about being the heir to Goat Island. She also tells him that Wes's will gives the island to the state as a nature reserve. Chandler claims there is another will, but Hollis does not believe him. When she pulls a gun, Chandler takes it and kills her. JJ waits outside and does not hear the gunshot. Chandler returns with the money, sends JJ to get a boat, and hides the murder weapon inside the Twinkie. Meanwhile, the Pogues discover what happened to Key. Chandler took JJ's phone, but they can still track his location and see that he is in the ocean. They go after him. Chandler uses the crystal to read the map and finds the location of the hidden tomb. JJ becomes suspicious when Chandler says Kiara gave him the scroll, and that only he and JJ will get the crown. Chandler then pushes JJ off the boat and leaves for Morocco to meet the mercenaries. JJ hits the anchor and is badly injured, but his friends find and save him. Shupe investigates the unidentified man from the dunes and discovers he was an Albanian convict connected to arms dealer Anton Finch. Shupe also learns that Hollis was Chandler's alibi when Wes was murdered, so he realizes Chandler may be behind the murders. Chandler anonymously reports Hollis missing, and the police find her body and the murder weapon inside the Twinkie. JJ is now wanted for murder. The Pogues escape and steal a police boat. Since Pope cannot return to the Marines, they decide to continue searching for the Blue Crown and head to Morocco. At a marina, they look for a larger boat. Rafe secretly hears their plan and decides to help because he wants revenge on Chandler. The Pogues find a large boat, but the police arrive before they can take it. They escape in the police boat, but the police surround them. When an officer points a gun at Kay, her father attacks him, and the gun damages their boat. They escape to an abandoned island. Shoop finds them there. He wants to arrest JJ but does not believe he killed Hollis. After investigating Chandler, he discovers his fake identities and criminal record. Rafe then arrives with a fishing boat from Barry. He tells Shupe that JJ is innocent and that he knows where Chandler is going. Shupe lets the Pogues leave and decides to go after Chandler. The Pogues take Rafe's boat toward Morocco. Rafe says he does not care about the treasure and only wants Chandler. JJ still does not trust him, so he knocks Rafe out and locks him up. During the trip, JJ drinks heavily and becomes depressed. John B tells him that he and Sarah want him to be the godfather of their baby. JJ is happy at first, but then becomes angry, questioning what kind of father John B will be. They argue, and John B walks away. That night, a powerful storm hits. The boat nearly capsizes, so they untie Rafe to help. Sarah goes outside to check on John B, but a wave throws her into the ocean. JJ jumps in after her with a life preserver, but both disappear. The next morning, the boat reaches Morocco without them. The Pogues fear they are dead and search the shore for days. Eventually, John B sees Sarah and JJ walking toward them. Sarah explains that JJ saved her, and John B hugs him. The Pogues enter Morocco and search for clues. They find a statue of Murad, who created the map. Since Sarah is pregnant and hungry, they go to a market for food. They have no money, so John B creates a distraction and steals fruit. He is caught but grabs 2 apples before they escape. Rafe is briefly arrested but released when the shop owner says he was not one of the thieves. Rafe uses his hidden money to buy a phone. He remembers the hotel name on the pen Chandler gave him, calls Sophia, and gets the name. At the hotel, Rafe sees the mercenaries and hears that they do not trust Chandler. Chandler is inside trying to read the map. He claims he burned it and memorized it, but the mercenaries reveal they made a copy. They still need Chandler's crystal to read it. Lightner attacks Chandler, but Rafe arrives and saves him. Chandler and Rafe take the map into the desert. At a well, Chandler shows Rafe how to read it and tells him Sophia betrayed him. Rafe is shocked, and Chandler attacks him. Rafe injures his hand but pushes Chandler into the empty well. He takes the scroll and crystal and leaves. Meanwhile, Cleo gets disguises for the Pogues, and they search the mercenaries' boat. John B and Sarah find map copies and Finch's financial records before the mercenaries almost catch them. They reach the same well and hear Chandler calling for help. He apologizes and begs JJ to save him, but JJ refuses. He only throws him some water before leaving. Near Agapa, the Pogues find Rafe surrounded by the mercenaries. Sarah shoots a fuel tank, creating a distraction and helping Rafe escape. The Pogues catch him, and Rafe agrees to give them the scroll for his share. Rafe and Sarah argue about Ward, but Sarah convinces him that their father died saving her and would have wanted them to work together. John B and Sarah study the scroll and discover that an old horse statue marks the Blue Crown's location. A sandstorm approaches, so Sarah and John B seek shelter. Rafe cannot climb the statue because of his injured hand, so JJ goes. JJ climbs the statue during the sandstorm, finds the hidden vault, and discovers the Blue Crown. Meanwhile, Lightner shoots Cleo when she tries to avenge Terrence. Pope takes the gun and kills Lightner, while Sarah saves John B from another attacker. JJ returns to Kiara, and they celebrate because they can finally save Poguelandia. But Chandler escapes the well, grabs Kiara, and holds a knife to her throat. He demands the crown, so JJ gives it to him. Chandler says they could have made a great team, then stabs JJ in the stomach and leaves with the crown. Kiara watches JJ die, and the Pogues later bury him in the Moroccan desert. The season ends with Rafe suggesting they go after Chandler to avenge JJ. Pope disagrees at first, but Kiara agrees, and they decide to get revenge. If you want more recaps like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what series or movie you want to see next.